This video was first aired on Argyle TV. Now, if you want to see more like this, including exclusive features, behind the scenes footage, interviews with your favourite players, or Argyle analysis or Argyle breakfast, then make sure you do sign up to Argyle TV. All you have to do is head online, www.pafc.co.uk/Argyle-TV. So much content on there for you to watch, and you'll be the first to get it. Enjoy the video. Well, Tom, welcome to Home Park.
Thanks.
Welcome to Plymouth Argyle. Are we calling you Tom?
Tom's
Thomas?
fine, yeah.
Plebs?
No,
Cleverley?
Tom's fine, yeah.
Tom's fine.
I'm happy with it.
Well, we've arranged the good weather for you. It's not always like it down here, believe me. But you've been to Home Park before, a couple of times, coach and a player. Do you remember both?
I do, yeah. I think I might have scored here.
You did, yes.
Yeah, that must have been about 2009 as a loan player at Watford. And then last season, a bit of a strange head coach experience. I was in the stand serving my only ban last season, and I sat amongst the Argyle supporters, so I know how passionate they are and how well they support their team. And that evening was, an old teammate of mine who scored 2 goals.
I was going to say, you were in amongst it in one of the most sort of chaotic ends to a game probably that we've seen with that last minute equaliser. Not great for you, obviously, but you saw Argyle's fans at their best, I suppose, at that moment.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking to Wayne after the game, he was saying how much they're relying on their home form, which has been magnificent, and there's a real strong connection here. Something I have to really maintain and preserve. And I think the last season that the club were promoted, there was 61 points here, which is really hard to believe. So it's all about, for me, maintaining that, as well as improving us on the road and creating a real game plan so the two are a bit more consistent.
Absolutely. If you get this place rocking, let me tell you, good things happen. I'm going to show you the ground, if that's all right. Give you a little stadium tour. We'll see a couple of little places, and we'll also get to know you a little bit more rather than just talk football in this. One of the kind of big things that people talk about when they fall in love with football is seeing the pitch for the first time. Can you remember the first game of football that you watched live?
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah, it was not really connected to either club. 'Cause my father was a Forest fan and I was a Bradford City fan growing up. But we went to Ellen Road, being from Bradford next door, and we watched Leeds Man United. Remember Cantona, I think, was playing for United, going back to Ellen Road.
Oh, wow.
So really hostile game, and I think I was about 5 years old, and a hostile introduction to English football.
That will make an impact, wouldn't it, on a 5-year-old?
Yeah,
really did.
For sure. And then grew up watching quite a lot of Forest, who had a good side at the time, with Stuart Pearce, Des Walker, Brian Roy and Van Hooijdonk. And so that was real. Always been in love with the game and a real student of the game. And
Did you? You've mentioned quite a few names there. Did you have any idols, heroes when you were growing up?
Being a Bradford fan, Dean Windass was a big one. There, and then I went to United as an academy player and fell in love with Beckham and Scholes really as a midfielder.
Yeah. What was the best game of football you think you've watched?
That's a really good question.
I'm putting you on the spot as well right away.
Yeah, that is a really good question.
Or even just one that, I don't know, springs to mind and you think, actually, you can recall it very well. It might even be one you played in, actually.
Yeah, I started in the game where United beat Arsenal 8-2.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a lot of watching, actually. I think I was in midfield watching our front players tear Arsenal apart, and one of the old bosses here scored a couple that day, and just great to be a part of. So that the Arsenal 8-2 would be something that it's a bit of an off-the-cuff answer, but that'd be it.
To have played in it makes it better than just watching it, to be honest. Away from football, are there any other sports that you play, that you do?
Yeah, so I like my golf. Obviously, being a head coach, it's not something you get the time to do much. So my rounds have gone probably from once a month to once a year. Like my cricket.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a sport that I'll always try and watch and relax to. I think it's quite a relaxing sport to be a spectator of.
Batter, keeper, bowler.
A bit of an all-rounder, to be honest. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm specialising in anything, but yeah, even the fielding, I'm quite sharp in the field.
Okay, fine. I like that. Okay. Well, let's go for a walk down here, and we'll continue the chat down by the dugouts. Well, we're on our way to the dugout area, or the bench area here at Home Park. So it will be your home on match days, and you're someone who's kind of worked with some incredible coaches over the years as a player, but also as a coach as well. If you had to put you on the spot again here, Tom, if you had to build the ultimate kind of gaffer and take a bit from each of the ones that you've worked with, where would you go with them? Who would you put? Which skills would you take from each person?
So the man management aspect and the relationship with the players would for sure be Sir Alex.
Yeah.
He knew exactly how to motivate his players, and that wasn't as a group. That is more of an individual. Each player is motivated in different ways. So he was a genius at that. I think tactically Marco Silva is excellent. As a player under Marco, you were so clear of what he expected from you, crossing that white line, and that's always what I want from my players, is to go out there to hear with absolute clarity of what their job is that day, as well as having a freedom to express themselves. I don't want it to be rigid. At the end of the day, they're the guys who have to step over there. They have to have a clarity of how we want to play, but they make their own decisions when they're out there. So those two have had massive influences on me as a coach. Chris Wilder was fantastic at the man management side of things. And a youth team coach of mine actually was Paul McGuinness, who's a really influential youth coach in this country, and his passion to improve his players has really rubbed off on me, and my priority as head coach here is to win football matches, but I've got a real passion of making sure every player develops under me, and that'll really be on show for our lads to see.
Do you think it's important for you as a coach as well, and someone that's kind of young in the role as well, to not necessarily model yourself totally on one person, be yourself as well as kind of taking little bits and pieces?
Yeah, you've got to be authentic, and I have my own way of doing things, and I really believe in that. I don't think that I'm the finished article. I'm 35 years old. I can still learn for sure, and I still want to develop. But a good piece of advice Sir Alex gave me was always see yourself in your teams. So the kind of person I am, the kind of player I was, I think you'll see some of those attributes in our team.
Okay. Well, we're in the home technical area, so are you one that stands out here a lot? Do you kind of up and down? Are you keen to be out here talking?
Yeah, I will be. Yeah, this is where you'll normally find me, and a little bit of back and forth communication with the staff. But listen, I think football's, at the end of the day, it's an emotional game, and you can really feel the emotion of the game when you stood as close as you possibly can to it. And yeah, sometimes tactics and game plan can go out the window, and you need to feel that as the coach. You need to feel if there needs to be a raise in the tempo, or there needs to be a big tackle, and I think there's nowhere better to feel that than right on the edge of it. What
for you is the kind of most challenging thing that you've found since you've become a head coach, become a coach?
Again, really good question. I think transfer markets. Transfer markets were my biggest challenge last season. You really want to get as involved as you possibly can. And that's really difficult, because in August you're trying to get all your messages across to the players. You're trying to navigate pre-season, and it's a really important time tactically. So tough to be involved in as much in the transfer market, and in January you're in the thick of the season. Games are ongoing, so you have to have a really good technical director and board, and I feel that's what we have here to help me with that. So that was a real big challenge of the job for me.
I can imagine. There's so many different things, let alone putting a team out. That end, you heard about the Devonport end?
I have.
Shall we go and see it?
Yeah.
Let's go and see it. Right, Devonport end, Babcock Devonport end actually, to give it its full name. Many an iconic goal has been scored at this end from Argyle. Promotions have been clinched here. Ryan Hardy scored here against Liverpool in the FA Cup when we knocked them out. So I'm going to ask you about goals, Tom. Your favourite that you've scored, or maybe best that you've scored?
Well, for United, my best one was probably at St James's Park, but it could be an argument made for it was a cross. So sentimental-wise, I came back from a long injury at Watford and scored away at Selhurst Park. A real nice volley, and it meant a lot to me because I thought my career was in trouble at that point with a bad Achilles injury. So that one, I'd say.
Okay. Are you one that, you know, when you play in games or score a goal, for example, that you kind of prefer the kind of meaning around it rather than the actual, like, I don't know, I played really well in that game, but it was a kind of meaningless mid-season game. Meaningless in the nicest possible terms, or like to play in an 8-2, like you mentioned earlier, or a championship winning game or something.
Yeah, I'd value the circumstance rather than the technical ability of the goal. I'm sure our lads scoring against Exeter or scoring the goal to clinch promotion or anything like that. I think the circumstance for me holds a lot of weight when you're talking about best goals.
Yeah, they'll be the ones that will be remembered more, won't they? It also this stand also comes up with some quite interesting chants and songs and stuff for the players. As players, do you take them in?
No. I think you always play your best football when you're fully immersed in the game.
Okay.
And yeah, so the chants are sort of a little bit of background noise.
Have you ever heard anything though, maybe as a coach or when you've watched a particular chant that you've been like, that's absolute class? That you can say as well?
Yeah. Actually? I played with a set of twins in my career, the De Silva twins, and their song was Viva De Silva, running down the pitch, don't know which one's which, Viva De Silva, so quite a clever one, but they're they always amaze me who comes up, who writes these songs.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how it kind of just catches on straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah, very creative, but in all seriousness, they are a big part of why you come to these stadiums, where you get a real connection and feel really part of something, and the chants and the singing is all part of it in the atmosphere.
We're going to go from singing in the stands to just music in general. Are you a music fan? Into music?
I like a live gig, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm an absolute connoisseur of music, but I do enjoy live music. Okay.
Manchester was probably quite good for that, I imagine, wasn't it?
And my favourite band, the Cortinas, Manchester-based band, so plays a part in it.
What about movies, TV shows? Are you into those?
Again, not. I'm a little bit boring, as in I'll end the day at the training ground and go watch a good game of football.
Okay.
I can watch football in a non-analytical way. So
you can switch off and just enjoy a game. I can,
especially if it's a game that's outside of our division.
Yeah.
I would be able to watch it in a non-analytical way. We do enough analysing. Yeah, I'd be favourite film something like Shawshank Redemption. Recently, I've watched Mobland, which was good, but yeah, I'm sorry to bore you with that. I'm very much a football watcher.
That's fine. It's a man after my own heart. But what I would say is the journey, is the travel. They're long bus journeys from Plymouth, so you might have to kind of build your catalogue up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or just watch football.
Yeah. Might learn a language.
Okay.
It's something that I've thought about on the
better answers.
Yeah, might learn a language. It's something that I've thought about on the long journeys that we're going to have to adapt to and embrace. I think it's a good string to your bow to have as a coach. The influence of foreign staff, foreign owners, foreign players. I think it's something that can be a good string to your bow.
Okay. Come back at the end of the season and do this in French if you want. In the change rooms, Tom, now, which I imagine is a place that since you began to become a coach has kind of taken on a different meaning to what it was like as a player.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you do a big part of your work. You know, I think as a player you sort of internalise everything and maybe quietly visualise things, but as the coach, this is where you do a lot of your work. Like I said before, the messages have to be really clear. The motivation has to be really clear, and how you do that is an important part of your week. So all the work you do on the training field can really spike at this point here, an important 10 minutes before the lads go out, and then a really important 5 minutes at half time. And this is a big part of my job.
Yeah. What's it like when you stood there? Can you remember the first time you had to do it? Like, because they would have been teammates at Watford, presumably. When you had to stand there right at the end of the kind of all the other messages that have been put out, and you're going out and giving your final talk. Did it come easily to you?
Yeah, it's something that comes quite naturally to me. You know, as a player and a captain, I wasn't the most vocal leader. I led by example, but as a head coach, you have to be vocal, and it's come natural to me. To be fair, I think game one to having coached 60 games now is second nature, and it's something I enjoy doing. I really enjoy organising people, being accountable for everything, and yeah, I like to be the guy that stood in front of those players and leading them.
As soon as I were in the change room, I'm going to have to ask you about superstitions or routines or anything. Did you ever have any? Do you still have any?
I did. They grew out.
Okay.
Pretty much. I feel like whatever I seemed to do had a period of not working.
Okay.
I had odd numbers, so not always my squad number was an odd number. I like to always line up first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, or 11th. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, like I phased them all out in my late 20s, and no problem with anyone who's superstitious, and but yeah, it's not something that I am now.
Did you see any, like, can you remember any that were particularly kind of strange that you thought, I haven't seen that before?
I think it was a player, Ben Wilmot. Had a collection of something. Kiko Feminier, who plays for Villarreal now, he definitely had. He built a little shrine in his place, and he had a little routine that he'd do to the shrine, and so yeah, everyone's different how they prepare for games, and I respect everyone's preparation. I think the biggest superstition that I have now is preparation, and that is do it as thoroughly as possible.
Yeah, fair enough. That's key. A couple more before we head to the training ground. Kits. Favourite kits that you would have worn?
That's another good question. My first kit I remember was a Forest kit. I wanted Van Hooijdonk. I got Roy because Van Hooijdonk wouldn't fit on the back.
But you didn't have to paper letter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a Bradford City fan as a child. I always liked that grey United kit that was their unlucky one. Yeah.
The one that they had to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, listen, there's no real standouts.
Were you a big one for swapping shirts with players, and when you played, like wanting a particular player's shirt and for any reason?
No, I always had massive respect when I was coming up against a tough opponent, but I didn't like to show that respect too much by swapping shirts. Got a lot of my good friends in my wardrobe that I've played against, ex-teammates or good friends in football, and there's a couple of standout names in there that I've got. I don't want to name drop, but yeah.
You could name drop better than most, I imagine, as well, with some of the players that you would have ended up playing with.
Yeah, I played against Iniesta in a pre-season friendly, so and because I felt like we might not compete against them again in the next couple of years, I swapped shirts with them, so it's a nice one. Yeah,
well, you've won that. Well done. Right, we'll go from one place of work to another, the training ground. Right, Harper's Park, the training ground, an area where, you said the dressing room is where you do a lot of your work. This is where this is the bread and butter. This is where your pennies are earned, right?
Absolutely, and it's a part of the job that I really enjoy. Like you said, it's where the bulk of your work goes into. The product that you see just over there is built
It's made here.
Exactly that, and it's a part of the job that I really value. I need the players to value, and yeah, I'm a coach who likes the details and habits, and they are built here.
When was it where you first thought, I'm going to go into coaching once you finished playing?
Yeah, so when I returned back to Watford on a permanent basis, I was 27. I went into a dressing room that was full of different nationalities, full of young players. And at the time we had a good coach, but a coach who couldn't speak English. So I enjoyed the responsibility of trying to guide people, trying to help people, develop people as people and players. And that was as a teammate, but I got they're all characteristics that I think that help you being a coach, and developed a real passion for that responsibility. Yeah.
I asked you down by pitch side what the kind of most challenging thing about being a head coach or manager is. What's the best thing in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean the obvious things like a set piece routine, or
something you've worked on here.
Yeah, or when a game plan really comes off. But I think the most rewarding thing is seeing a player really develop. You know, it's a real rewarding part of the job. He's been able to change people's lives. You know, like whether that's players or whether that's staff or supporters, and it's I've not managed in my 14 months as a head coach. I've not managed to win a trophy or gain a promotion, so I'm sure that would be right up there. But I feel as though we've changed a couple of people's lives and the dynamic of their careers, and that is really rewarding. Yeah.
A couple more just on kind of you and when you were playing. What can you who I suppose comes to mind in terms of either at the training ground or on matches as like the best that you think you've played with?
Scholes. Yeah, I know it's a common answer for anyone who's been a teammate of his.
Common for a reason, though.
Yeah, there's probably two people I've ever seen where you think it is God-given talent, and that's Lionel Messi and Paul Scholes. Obviously, people like Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney and people that are incredible talents and the peak of every area of a footballer. But Scholes and Messi are two people that are, no matter how hard you trained, you won't get to that level.
You say it's a common answer, and it kind of is more with people like after he finished, I suppose. Like, do you think he was appreciated as a player in his early days, especially?
Early
or
days,
those sort of middle, you know.
Early days, maybe not. You know, he was put on the left for England.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Played out of position. He was always in double figures as a younger player, arriving in the box, and the way he adapted his game to fall into a bit more deeper midfielder and control the tempo of big games. A master technician and a real top player, and he's someone who I saw up really close.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Just to end on, I mean, we are just a couple of days out from the start of pre-season kicking in, so you've had a few days of kind of chilling and what have you, but away from football, what is the perfect weekend for you?
Yeah, obviously family plays a big part in it. I've got 4 children and a wife, so that play a big part of that. Sport's always been a part of my life. Paddle, golf, cricket. So yeah, a sporting weekend with the children would be a good one.
Good. Right. Well, thanks for that, Tom.